Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix, and I'm here to share a behind the scenes project, something I've been working on for about 3 weeks now, maybe a month. I put out a video a while back about how I make homemade alcohol inks, and in that video I touched upon something I was trying out, and over the next 2 to 3 weeks after that I did a lot more experimenting, and I'm very pleased so far with the results. So this jar, hopefully it's not reflecting too much, but you'll see it has a red liquid inside, and what I had in this jar was it packed full of dark red rose petals, and then I filled it with 91% alcohol and let it sit for about a week, and this is what I got. Now when I took the petals out of the alcohol and I jarred it up, had it in another jar and I jarred it into this. When I got down to the end, I poured it out on a piece of white 60-pound cardstock and a coffee filter. So I'm going to go through and show you each one of the pages. I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if I counted right, jars of alcohol ink from different plant materials, and I have about that many more curing right now, and several needs to be jarred up, but I wanted to show you what I've done so far. And because it's alcohol, according to what I read in the where I was learning how to do this, alcohol makes it permanent. So this is rose petals, and this is actually the back side of the sheet. All of these marks are just the rose petals, and I just squished them in. The color around it is the liquid that drained off of them. This is the side I actually did it from. So this is what drained through to the other side. And so this is various colors of purple and pink. It's almost a little bit of a gray color. Now, I made this about 3 weeks ago. And then to strain it, I have to use a coffee filter. This is an unbleached coffee filter that I just used in a funnel. Poured everything through, so it's that brown color, kind of like craft paper. But you can see that it has a pink hue, or at least almost a dark purple hue. So the next one I did is, have to look and see because I didn't line them up. I probably should have, but I didn't. Okay, this one, see that rich green color? This is from the leaves of a lavender plant I have on my back porch. This is the back side of the page, and this is the front side of the page. where the green is green, it came through very well. But I didn't have a whole lot left over as far as the plant material, and I just laid it on the paper and let it soak in where it soaked in. And so so that's that. And then this is the unbleached coffee filter. Look how light it is. It's considerably lighter, has a green hue to it. Now this was a total experiment. My husband's been eating tangerines like you wouldn't believe over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. This is tangerine peelings, and this is the ink. Now look at that orange, and let me take that out from under. So see how orange that is? This is just the tangerine peelings put in alcohol, let it sit for about a week. It did have a lot of pulp in it, and it still has a little bit in the bottom. If I were to shake it up, it would get just slightly milky. So before I use this, I will strain it one more time. But compared to what it was, this is very good. So that's a very rich orange, but it makes a very yellow with some like orange overtones. And then this is the unbleached coffee filter that I strained it with. Okay, this one didn't turn out with that many colors. It's kind of grayed out a little bit. This is the back side. It just didn't do that much. Here's just a little bit of green, but again, this is just where I laid the petals and let them drain and the ink dry however it dried. However, this is the ink from it. So I think what this would be is a very translucent green. I think it would be very light. But when I get through with everything that I've experimenting with, I'm going to put it all in spray bottles and use it and see where it takes me. And then this is the dried, this is a bleached coffee filter, and as you can see, very little color came on it. Now this is the sunflower seeds and florets. Now you can see which was which. The seeds are obviously black, and then the florets, it's not the petals from the sunflower, but it is the little tiny, and that's all I know to call them, is a floret that pops up on top of the seed before the seed is fully ripe. And so you can see where the seed was, and then you can see where these little florets were on both sides. And this one has a lot of gray, and then this one, this side has more of that yellow, almost spring green. And this is the color that I got from it. And to get this much was about 2/3 of a cup, about 1/3 seeds, and the rest the little dried florets. So that's the sunflower. And then this is a bleached coffee liner or coffee filter that I use to strain it, and you can see some yellow and then some of that grayish black color. Now I have to say this might be my favorite. This is rabbit tobacco, and it's kind of lost its smell now, but rabbit tobacco is a plant in the aster family that blooms in the fall of the year. It's just gotten through blooming, and the flowers and the leaves, the stems, it all smells a whole lot like maple syrup. And the reason it's called rabbit tobacco is way back in the day when tobacco was really, really popular. But people, especially children or kids, who wanted to smoke, they would go out and pull the rabbit tobacco leaves and dry them and smoke that, because tobacco was so expensive way back. So let me find the jar of rabbit tobacco. What's this one? Yes. It turned out, now the leaves are silvery white with a green undertone, but this green turned out so pretty. It's like a dark moss slash avocado green. It looks like green with some black mixed with it. I put this in the alcohol when the blooms were just really starting to pop open. They were fully bloomed, but just fully bloomed, not dried. And these are from the leaves and the flowers. And so this is what it did. It was like I just love that piece. And for a few days afterward, this smelled like maple syrup. And then this is an unbleached, or a bleached rather, coffee filter that I use to strain it. Next is the Southern Magnolia, and that's the magnolia we have here in the South that has the shiny, glossy, leathery leaves that don't shed. They keep their leaves through the wintertime. This one has a green tint to it, but it didn't leave a whole lot. I cut the leaves up because they're about this long and about that wide, very leathery, and so I cut them into strips to make the ink. And then this is the unbleached filter, and it has kind of a yellowish look. But this is the green. It's almost the same color as the rabbit tobacco, but a little clearer. So I think this would be another translucent ink. Now this is a blue ice juniper, that I got at my parents'. Which one is it? Oh, it's the great big one. A blue ice juniper is ice blue, which is where it gets its name. It's a juniper, obviously. Has little needles on it, and so I was thinking that I would get an ink that was sort of in a bluish aqua color, but nope. It's almost the same color green as the rabbit tobacco and the magnolia leaves. In fact, it and the magnolia leaves are almost identical in the color, which totally surprised me. It's like it pulled the blue off the surface and went to the green underneath, and it was like the blue didn't even exist almost. But it did make a nice green cast. These were needles. They're not sharp needles, but they were needles nonetheless. And then this is the unbleached coffee filter I used to strain it. And the last one I have for this demonstration is dogwood seeds. Now, the dogwood seeds by themselves didn't give me a whole lot, so I put just a few pink rose petals in it I had gathered. So most of this color I think is from the pink rose petals. The dogwood started out with this very, very light orange, but it was so light you really could barely see it. So I just threw those in because I didn't have access to any more dogwood seeds. So this is a mixture, and it's kind of that brownish pink color, which I do like. But this is not one that I would be replicating again. All the rest of them I think I would make again, very possibly. And then this is the bleached coffee filter that I use to strain it. So I'm going to pause you for just a moment, and then I'm going to show you what I have curing and tell you what it is. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of an experiment. These are inks that are ready to be jarred up, or strained and jarred up into a different jar. This is the flowers of a goldenrod, and from what I read, it's supposed to be one of the truest yellows. Evidently yellow ink in nature is hard to get. This has been curing for about 3 weeks. I think it's a pretty good yellow. For sure, for sure. So I will be jarring these up in the next couple of days. Now this one is orange marigolds from my mom's flower garden. Just before she took everything up and saved the seeds and stuff, because they're getting snow right now. So yeah, that's yellow, but a little bit richer yellow. Now these are also marigolds. These come from my daughter's house. They are orange with the really dark maroon velvety petals, and they pulled the color out almost immediately. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be a really rich color. We'll see how all this dries. This is purple dahlias, and they were dried when I put them in. I've had them for about, coming up on 3 weeks, about 2.5 weeks now. I think this is going to be a very translucent color. Now I've got some other colors of dahlias that are dried. I just don't have them made yet. Now, also here in the southeast, and maybe I'm not sure all the places they grow, but we have what's called a sourwood, and has a really pretty white bloom on it in the summer, and the bees just love it. Sourwood honey is like one of the best honeys that you can have besides locust. These I gathered 2 weeks ago when I was at my daughter's, and so they've been curing for about 1.5 weeks. They turn really dark, like burgundy red in the fall, and so these are fall or autumn leaves. And so I'm really curious, because it looks like that they're really dark, but I don't know yet. Okay. So there is our experiment thus far. Let me get my pencil out here, and we're gonna write goldenrod, orange marigolds, this was the red marigolds, wasn't? No, this was the I forgot. I think this was the let me line them back up the way that I had them, then I can remember what was what. I know that was last. That was that. Okay. There we go. Okay. I know that this is the sourwood. And that this is the purple dahlias. So this has to be the orange and red marigolds. And if I've gotten that wrong when I watch the video, when I edit it, I'll switch those around, but I think that's right. But this is dry, this is dry. That's still a little damp. These two are still damp. But remember, this is 91% alcohol. It will dry very, very fast. And I'm curious now how this one is starting to have a ring around it. This one is starting to have almost a greenish ring around it. The sourwood is turning darker, and the purple dahlias are like a really light, like ballet slipper pink. That's interesting. I do have, like I said, I have more curing that I just started. Now while these are drying, I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I guess that will be it for this video, but I want to show you one more thing. I collected these leaves at my daughter's 2 weeks ago, and they're dry now. I have no idea what kind of tree it is. I'm going to ask my son-in-law. It's growing in the edge of the yard, and they live way back in the boonies where there's trees everywhere. But I thought this would make some really good, hopefully yellow ink. So we'll see how that does. But I haven't done anything with them yet. I've been drying flower petals for several years now because I use them in my handmade soaps, and so when I started making the coffee ink and the tea ink, I started looking up how to make homemade ink because ink gets expensive, and I know there's all those colors out there that everybody likes to use, but if I can get it from nature, that's where I'm going to get it. And these leaves, I could pick them while they're slightly still green off the tree, or I can pick them up off the ground when they fall. Either or. I'm also about experimenting and just seeing what I get. And so far, I'm not disappointed. It's interesting that this orange and red is turning green. But anyway, that is the behind the scenes video of what I've kind of been experimenting with, just to see what I get. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Update. This is the colors they turned out after they dried.